If I'm getting lured out by VP talking about who are you calling, I'm sprinting full speed ahead. I'm sprinting. I'm not even looking back. I'm gone. Okay, so the last time I left off watching Prison School, I was 2 episodes in, and I mean, just from 2 episodes alone, we learned a lot. That Hannah, she's a little frisky. She likes some things that may be perceived as weird to the normal individual. Now we learned that Kyoshi is trying to go on this date. All in all, Prison School, it started off making you want more because it was probably the funniest animated show I've ever watched in my life. Like just 2 episodes in, just the jokes and the unnecessary horniness. It was a show I had to finish. But no, so from where we left off, Kyoshi and Gakuto, they were just trying to go scope out the area because when they do this heist, they need to have all the information they can, you know, on the outside world and the route that they're taking. Ever since they both agreed to do this, they've been conspiring amongst themselves a lot. You know, they haven't really been including the other group members, and it's sort of just been them two. So as they progressively keep talking more, Shingo is starting to get suspicious. And then VP pulls up to the prison later on in her jammies. She has people like Shingo saying she looks even more indecent in this clothing than what she wears on a normal basis, just because it makes her more mysterious. And when you really think about it, he's 100% correct. She's still obviously dressing promiscuously, but it's just a different level of it. On a day-to-day basis, she dresses so outlandish that like this is a step down, which in theory is a step up. So I'm with Andre when he says this legendary quote right here. I don't no. Just knowing the type of woman VP is, this is a nice change. It's a very nice change. But she comes up in here asking them what do they want. You know, I guess they deserve some sort of consolation prize for doing good work or something. So then Andre's getting a diary, Shingo's getting something, I don't even remember what the fuck he's getting. Joe's getting an ant farm, Gakuto's getting a VHS recorder. So then the next day, Gakuto and Kyoshi, they're talking again like always. Shingo's eavesdropping. And this is why you need to get the full context of certain situations before you start making assumptions. He's only hearing a couple of the actual words that they're speaking. So they may be like, yeah, no, in order to escape, we got to get greased up, go into this hole, and then slither our way through just so we can escape the premises. But then all Shingo is hearing is greasing up, gelled up, and then putting it in the hole. So now he's just thinking the reason that they've been talking so much is that they're dating. And now the whole operation is taking a turn for the worse, but Shingo's giving them the benefit of the doubt. He decides he's gonna follow them to the shower. Gakuto falls down on all fours, and that's just the type of person Gakuto is. Like, he is such a goober that of course he would fall in a downward dog position arched up at this parabolic angle. But Kyoshi is the one that I'm actually having suspicions about, because why did he proceed to then grab his waist and then stand behind him as if he was actually about to start going to town? And no matter how they tried to spin it or explain it to me, if I'm Shingo, I would leave that bathroom with the same ideas that I thought coming in, and then they notice that Shingo is peeping in on them and they're worried about the wrong things. I think Kyoshi was trying to take advantage of Gakuto. I'm not even gonna lie, there's no he shouldn't have been there. But then the next day, Gakuto and Kyoshi actually start to put more of their plan into action by trying to figure out the route. And then they find that there's a little drainage section under the school that can sort of serve as a crawl space for Kyoshi, and then he could go from point A to point B. And while they're experimenting with this, Shingo was telling the rest of the squad, guys, I have something to say, but I don't know if you're gonna believe me. But the other day when I went to go shower, I swear I saw Kyoshi giving Gakuto that work. I was kind of suspicious of them for a while, but I was trying to go get a clear answer on it, and that answer was clearer than 20/20 vision at that point. So I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I mean, this is just kind of heartbreaking for me. I knew Kyoshi was a fucker, man. I knew it from day one. Did this nigga just say that I was Gakuto? Is that what he just said? So Shingo spilled the beans, and now there's rumors in the air. But then as Kyoshi is in this little crawl space, VP is about to start doing Bulgarian squats and start hitting a mean ass workout with her sweat dripping all over his retina. This show is really lucky it didn't catch me in like early high school, because it would have definitely been a very big issue seeing shit like this in an early adolescent age. I wouldn't even be able to handle myself. It would have been like an every 5 to 10 minute situation. If I was realistically in Kyoshi's position though, I would have sat here until that workout was over and all the sweat evaporated. She could have been gone back home in her nightgown attire, and I would have still probably been there, just soaking in the fumes. I'm doing too much with that. I need to stop that. So in order for this plan to work, Gakuto is now trying to use his new VHS player or whatever, his MP3 player, to download a poop.mp3 so they could fake Kyoshi going to the bathroom while he's out and about on the prowl, so it would allow the vice president not to check up on him because he would have some explosive diarrhea type of shit. But the problem is, I don't know what year they're in. I'm looking at the computers. I think they're still on Windows XP actually. so I don't think they had easily accessible poop.mp3 downloads at that time, because now I could look that shit up on YouTube and I could make it work easy, but I don't think they were that advanced technologically back then. So now Gakuto is like, you know what? I'm just gonna have to make my own shit. And he risked his whole high school career for this man Kiyoshi, and this is why Gakuto is the MVP of the show, because you're not gonna find better than him. This is a brother. Kiyoshi Dono, I'm gonna have to shit my pants here in this classroom, and I'm gonna leave the rest of this operation up to you. I need my action figure. I'm sacrificing everything I got for this moment. Gakuto, don't do that shit, my nigga. Kiyoshi, please forgive me what I'm about to do. Sensei, I'm gonna go to the restroom. I shit my trousers. Did he poop his pants? Oh my gosh, it reeks like shit in here. Round of applause for Gakuto. I mean, you don't see sacrifices like that anymore. So after all the commotion, Gakuto and Kiyoshi unfortunately find out that their hole's been blocked up. They need a new escape route. So what Gakuto decides to do, and again, noble sacrifice, give him an award. He weaves VP, which I think is the first from anyone in the series, by the way. He completely dodges her attack and then pulls down the president's garments. But see, this is where this nigga might be on par with Lelouch, Light Yagami. This has observation hockey squared. Like, he's seeing days ahead. VP takes it. I don't know where she took him exactly. I don't know if this is her own quarters or if this is like just a different room in the school. And VP is pulling up the black latex gloves. So you know she's getting serious, because she only brings those out when she's getting frisky. And it's the way they do things like this in the show. She turns this device on, they blur it out and censor it up. I don't know what is happening right now. Like, I don't know what she's about to do. But then it turns out she just shaves off his hair. But I've got to give VP credit. She taped him on. She gotta give him a nice, now granted, it's a one all around. She gave him a nice little cut. Chopped him up, gave him a nice tape in the front. Everything's equal. But if I'm Gakuto, he's looking clean. He took 2 wins on that. And Gakuto got his, I don't know how VP let him get away with this, but he was able to get all of his hair and give it to Kiyoshi, because Kiyoshi's gonna have to get out of this school disguised as a female now, since their first plan was put to a halt. Whenever they get the opportunity, their plan's into effect. Gakuto has his diarrhea.mp3 set up. Kiyoshi is out on the prowl. Almost gets caught like on 3 different occasions, but at the end of the day, he eventually gets to go on his date. And Kiyoshi's out on this date, having a great time. I'm happy for the man. But the problem is, Kiyoshi then goes to the restroom. Chiyo decides to be clumsy within that 5-minute interval, even though they've been on a date for like an hour now. Spills Coca-Cola all over Kiyoshi's designer bag, opens the inside of the bag, sees the female uniform. She doesn't even have any context as to why he has this female uniform, and he did it all in her best interest, but she's just assuming shit now. But he comes back. Chiyo, you won't believe what I saw. I saw a student sumo wrestler in the bathroom too. You disgusting piece of shit. Excuse me? Yeah, you're disgusting. She's tripping, dog. She doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. But no, so then Kiyoshi is about to pull a Takamichi. That's what they made it look like. I think he was just actually heading back to the school. And then Shingo is pissing me off. He's trying to rat Kiyoshi out for whatever reason. I thought this was your friend. He's taking himself to the bathroom to go rat. Like, what is he doing? This is not friendship. And then these two are so oblivious that they just allow VP to get a quick double kill on them. And like, Kiyoshi makes it back in time, but like, what are you doing? And Gakuto ends up getting his little toy, and they think they're out scot-free. The plan was a success. Mission passed. They don't even get a foot out of the bathroom yet. And they had the whole squad pull up on them. President, VP, Shingo standing on their side like he just switched sides or something. Did you enjoy yourself at the sumo match? Lady, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, is that right? Then tell me who's this ugly ass nigga on my screen. If I'm Kiyoshi, I'm never talking to this chick again. I'm watching the sumo matches with Kiyoshi-kun right now. Thank you, Dad and Oni-chan, for giving Kiyoshi-kun permission to leave. How are you so dense? Like, I actually don't remember if Kiyoshi lied to her and was like, oh, they're giving me permission. I could have sworn he just said, I'll figure a way out. Chiyo, I'm in my prison attire. Why on earth would you send this to Pops and your sister, knowing your sister's history? And I'm ignoring the fact that this man has 3 rice cakes in his mouth right now. She sent this because she thought she was looking good. She'd even take me into consideration, so why would I want to date you if you can't even look out for me like that? After that, they throw the man in solitary confinement. His ex-girlfriend is out to lunch and she's starting to come to her senses a little bit and was like, you know what? Maybe I am a jackass. And Kiyoshi ends up getting put on the chopping block, and he's about to pack up his tools and leave. And when he's about to sign his papers, his girl pulls up and actually starts vouching for him. But I mean, for her to throw away her whole high school career, at least at this place, for this man that she met no more than a month ago, I've got to give her props. She's talking to her sister, pleaded to keep Kyoshi in the school, and then she's like, sis, you told me if someone helps baby crows, then that means they're automatically a good person by default, so don't lie to yourself now. Oni-chan, you're fucking capping. This would never save some crows. I know good people when I see it, and I would know if he saved some crows. I am the Crow Master. I don't know if you knew that. You're still expelled. I'm not signing that. What the fuck did you just say? No matter what I go through from here on out, I'm gonna turn over a new leaf and I'm gonna prove you wrong. I'll prove to you that I saved those crows. I'm not dropping out. Yes, as I told you, Kyoshi is sorry for what he did. I'm over this shit. Y'all boys skedaddle out of my office before I get my crows to munch on your privates. Get the fuck out. So he gets a second chance at life, and then he comes back, and then Shingo and them are kind of isolating him because they're still mad. And Shingo is sort of the ringleader now. He's also working with the opposition, and now he's going to start giving information to VP in exchange for food, different amenities, and probably freedom. And while that happened, also Hana returned from her paid time off because of the whole shower incident, and she's coming back looking better than ever. She's glowing. She's like happy. I'm happy for Hana. Good for her, right? Because she went through such a traumatic event that she didn't want at all. So I'm glad to see her coming back after suffering some assault like that. And this man Shingo is real deal tattletaling on everyone. Going to VP talking about, yeah, Joe loves his ant farm. His favorite ant is China Ann McClain. And all you have to do is knock over his little shit. It'll rile him up. He'll probably want to kill someone. And they're out in the courtyard, out for recess. And the underground student instigators are just starting up trouble now because Miss Uchiha calls in her crow and has her crow start breakdancing on top of Joe's ants. He thinks the shit's a murder scene, so he's getting ready to turn up because he's not taking the disrespect like that. And he didn't even hesitate either. He went straight to moving. He was locked onto the president. Jokes aside, Joe is deadass going to get sent to prison for these ants, and he was willing to take a life sentence for China Ann McClain and Fletcher and Olive. He ends up accidentally stabbing Kyoshi in his rear, straight through the hole. And it's like, at this point, when does it end? Because we could keep this act up for so long, but Kyoshi has the stick up his ass right now, VP. Like, we definitely need some medical care, because as much as he says he's okay, this stick may very well be puncturing his intestines. But after that, they throw Joe into solitary, and Kyoshi is just trying to recuperate in the nurse's office. I don't know where the other patients are. I don't know where the nurse is herself, but I guess Hana is the one that's administering this ointment now. As this man's trying to apply his ointment, she walks into the room. He's in the worst possible position he could be in. And this is how I know Hana has done some shit like this before, because she has a whole pee holding device. I don't know what this container is called. You're going to pee in this bottle before the nurse comes back, and then I'm gonna take a picture just to commemorate this monumental event. Hana, I'm not urinating right now. Little nigga, pee in the bottle. You're gonna pee in the motherfucking bottle, or you're gonna pee in my mouth. What is it? Hana, stop. Hana, what? Oh, fuck. Damn. You're right, Kyoshi. Since we're running out of time, I think I'm just gonna pee on you first. Don't you dare look. I had a full 32-ounce smoothie from Smoothie King 30 minutes ago, and I've been waiting to let this one out. And thank God that Chio pulled up in this nurse's office, because Hana is on some different type of shit. But they have to hide under the bed from Chio. Any man being in Kyoshi's position, pants off, Hana's pants are off, what's gonna happen? And she's kind of blushing. So I know she has a crush on this man Kyoshi, #1. And if I'm Kyoshi, I'm just gonna be smart about it, because I'm not in a committed relationship yet. Now granted, Kyoshi's done great things for me and she's helped me out of scary predicaments, but I'm just gonna let Hana know I'm gonna talk to her. I'm gonna whisper in her ear, Hana, me and you, right now, we could get this shit going since we're in this situation. I know you like me because you're trying to assert some sort of dominance over me. I see it. I see right through you. And I feel like that would really make her take a step back and look into her own self and realize that she may have a problem. This man Kyoshi must be packing some heat down there, at least a Subway sandwich, because he makes Hana faint from that. Like, he was so bricked up that he gave her amnesia. VP gives Shingo the opportunity to leave, and he meets some girl from school, Anju. And Shingo goes out on a couple dates. He's enjoying himself, and VP ends up finding Andre's little toy due to Shingo snitching, and she pulls it out and she's threatening him with it because she's still under the impression that Gakuto didn't escape with Kyoshi, but she has her suspicions. So then Miss VP places the horse on the ground, and she's like, you're gonna admit to me that this figurine is yours or else I'm gonna ride it. Oh my goodness, VP, stop it, please. She just hops on and straddles this horse. Man, I got his straddles. I could have VP straddling some other shit, that's for sure. And I know VP has weight to her. If I were to hypothesize, I would say VP is weighing at least 160, at least, just because of the boulders that she's carrying, 50 and 50 each. So I don't know what industrial type of material this horse was made out of, but I could understand why Gakuto wanted an action figure as pristine as this shit, because the quality on this from some other fucking planet. He gets the figurine. VP is thinking that he's admitting to the crime. Gakuto, thinking that he's been a bad friend to Kiyoshi, decides, you know what, my friendship is more important than this figurine. I'm gonna smash it right here. And then he smashes that shit on the ground and he says, how old do you girls think I am? I'm not interested in none of these little baby ass toys. I'm gonna be heading back to the grind now, and I'm gonna be taking this snack with me to munch on. Like, that is such a brother, man. As this man bawling his eyes out, his whole childhood is like damn near ruined, but he's prioritizing friendship, and that's what's important, and you love to see it. The Underground Student Council comes to the decision that since they cannot get one over on these gentlemen, that they're just gonna have to get them all expelled. VP is trying to go at Andre, take advantage of his situation, because his purpose for living every day is to get abused by the VP. So she was like, you know what, I'm just gonna step back and I'm just gonna let him do what he wants to do. Andre has been without punishment for so long that this nigga is decomposing. He's turning to mush. VP tries luring him in her tight ass shirt, and I guess Andre has like a mom thing going on with VP, something in his head, but VP transforms into her final form. And she's like, who the fuck are you calling mommy? And that shit has Andre ravenous. Now he is a, like, if I'm getting lured out by VP talking about who are you calling, I'm sprinting full speed ahead. I'm sprinting. I'm not even looking back. I'm gone. But this nigga Andre is made out of metal or something, because he is forcing his way through the barbed wire. No scratches, no cuts, no nothing. So then that's strike number 2. Shingo is out on his date and Anzu ends up being an op. But she feels bad about it. This is why I like her, because she understands that the Underground Student Council is no good. So then Shingo's trying to get back, and he's making a legendary run. He may get the world record right now because he hitches a ride and he makes it back with some time to spare, and he's trying to pull the door and it's not opening. I would have probably tried pushing. I wouldn't have thought with the doorknob would have been a sliding door. So I think anyone in this high intensity situation probably would have folded. But no, this was actually a learning lesson for all of them regardless, because now while they're all gonna get expelled, at least they're all like now close again. So what they decide is that they're going to have an arm wrestling competition with VP, since she takes a lot of pride in her strength. And while she's off guard, Gakuto's gonna slip out of there, download the information from their whole scandal, and then show it to the chairman as proof. So she pulls up, washes Gakuto in an instant. Hey, that's it. This is how you know Kiyoshi's been eating that protein and getting that good prison workout in, because he looks great. And Kiyoshi's kind of putting up a fight, and then someone kicks the table leg down and they all fall. I wouldn't even say that this was fair to Kiyoshi, honestly, because she has a little slip up in the upper area and it's distracting Kiyoshi, and it's not fair. She had an advantage over him, so I think they should run that back for a best 2 out of 3 or something. But he was so distracted that she snapped this man's arm into 2. He'd even notice because he was so fixated on that. Shingo pulls up, he gets beat. So Kiyoshi was getting bullied by Shingo. This is what I'm getting at right now. Kiyoshi could have beat this ass whenever he wanted to, but he gave him the benefit of the doubt because he's being a good friend. I just wanted to put that out there. She's 3-0 now, and Joe pulls up talking about, you can't forget about me, vice president. I'm thinking he's about to go kind of crazy. Like, he has a skinny birdcage type of body, but the way he presented himself was sort of like those skinny ass anime characters that really shouldn't be boxing with people, that end up being broken as hell. And she washes him so bad that she sends this nigga into a spiral, and he's still trying to save his image after. He's like, yeah, that shit must suck, beating someone as weak as me. It must leave a horrendous taste in that beautiful mouth of yours with those pink ass lips and those white teeth. So it's time for the main event of WrestleMania. He takes off his shirt, he's showing off the gains, whatever, and then I guess he's just going through his developmental changes, so he has a loose nipple hair, one singular one. But this one singular nipple hair could change the tide of this battle, because it's a back and forth competition. VP will see the hair, it'll wave in the wind, she'll lose composure, but then Andre will taste a little bit of her sweat, and then he'll lose his composure, and it's a back and forth thing. But she eventually realizes that she could just close her eyes, and she beats the fuck out of him. Gakuto ends up coming back on time. He wasn't able to fully complete the task, unfortunately. So then the chairman comes, because everything's failed, but they're pleading to give them another day. Kiyoshi pulls out his final resort by letting the chairman know that he knows his issue, scandalous butt pictures and things. There were a lot of funny moments in the show, but I would have to say this was a top 3 one, just by how Kiyoshi reacted to it, because the chairman's like, one question, ass or breast? Give me the right answer and I'll let you get that extension. I'm taking ass. But Kiyoshi hasn't fully passed the test yet. Listen, why didn't you pick breast? What makes the cheeks better than the bosom? And this meant Kiyoshi shifts to his Socrates, Aristotle, philosophical type of thinking. From the origins of mankind, we used to walk on all fours, which then meant we were always looking up at someone's rear. But as we progressed and as we evolved, the gaze towards the behind was not as common as it used to be. So then with evolution, women started to grow butts on their chest, which are basically just ass cheeks version 2. So then when approached with the question, which is better, ass or breast, you would have to go with the origin. Being a man of culture myself, I would naturally have to go to the original just because of what my dad told me. The OG is always better. And if we look at the ethos, the pathos, and the logos, it just doesn't. You conveyed to me your message and you proved your point to me. You'll get that extra day. Any man of ass is a man of class. Kyoshi went on a whole spiritual journey internally, but now after that, Hana is now on a mission to completely sabotage their operation. But Anzu is trying to work with Chiyo now to help Kyoshi and them with their plan. All they have to do is get this information because Gakuto had it emailed. He just was never able to print it out or get the physical evidence of it. And this is what I'm talking about. Gakuto taking risks for the team, getting stabbed in the head with a fork, just for the sake of this plan. This whole plan stemmed from him getting stabbed in the head with this fork right here, which then would lead him to go to the infirmary, get patched up, but then Hana keep Kyoshi behind because she thinks that he told the others about the whole situation. Third time, she's telling this nigga to pee. So then Kyoshi has two options here. He's either going to do exactly what she says or he's gonna have to take control of the situation. Takes off his pants with full authority, places said cup on his area. And this man Kyoshi right now is softer than a squishmallow. He's putting this girl Hana through some like psychosis type of shit because she's like mesmerized by the fact that he is going through with this full force, and his whole objective here is to open this door. He's looking at her with these charming ass eyes. His eyes are glistening in the moonlight right now, and she again tries to reverse his attack by removing her own undergarments and then threatening to pee herself. So now it's a back and forth situation, and then Kyoshi eventually folds because he gets put in a situation where it's like under the bed part 2, and now his shit's standing up on it now. And she not only assaults the man physically, but she also assaults him physically again, just in a different way. Her intrusive thoughts won this time, and she decides she was gonna kiss him. And Kyoshi has that turn a girl crazy type of game. He hasn't done anything that prompted her to act in this manner. I took your first kiss, your precious first kiss, and I ruined it. You never kissed anyone before. You're just assuming things now. And whatever you don't want me to do, I'm gonna do that shit anyway. So Kyoshi, this is my revenge to you. Hana, I don't know what your definition of revenge is, but let me get a piece of it. Let me know. Someone let me know. Let me get some revenge. Please, I've been bad. Kyoshi thinks on the fly and is like, damn, this girl's kissing me, but she's kind of trash. I looked up a bunch of things in my day, and this is not what a kiss is. This kiss is stiffer than my shit right now. And by the power invested in him, he takes Hina out for the count. Kyoshi, good for you, man. Honestly, she was a very tough enemy to go through. I'm glad you took her down and you got something out of it too. Next day, it's time. Gakuto's running through the school butt naked, pulls up, gets jumped by a bunch of females for whatever reason, but this was part of the plan. And him, Joe, and Chiyo all switched places because with the bandage, Joe took his place. The president's freaking out because they're like, we made our rounds. How could you even be off the premises? President, I regret to inform you, once you made your rounds, our plan already reached its fruition. Its climax, if you will. Your cap is fuck. Only 10 minutes passed when we received that first message. On the contrary, we had 20. I downloaded the restoration software onto the PC ahead of time when you were frolicking with the boys. Yours truly made his way into the corrections office to extract the data, and now the data's in my ass cheeks. Hana's sitting here in the background having a mental breakdown because she's thinking her and Kyoshi had something. She's heartbroken like, wait, Kyoshi, that wasn't real? Did you take advantage of me in that situation? Just to open the door for Chiyo? Yeah, I did. I took advantage of the opening you gave me, Hana, and I unlocked that fucking door. So you did that shit just to trick me? You're damn fucking right I did. Komen nasai, Hana-chan. You just got Kyoshi. Sorry to tell you. So the episode ends. They end up getting freed. The end credits show the introduction to the actual student principal. So I completely disregard the fact that this was the underground student council. Everything that they were doing wasn't really even legal on school grounds, so I don't even know how they were operating because the actual student council did exist. Hana, VP, and FP, fake president, they're all a bunch of phonies. They're actually getting taken to the prison now, and it's gonna be like that sort of dynamic if it were to come back. And there was an OVA to the show, and I did watch it, but that was a whole hour in itself, and I'm not even gonna go through it, but it was just kind of showing how the boys were living afterward and what happened to the 3 females. It was pretty good. I would love to see the show come back. I heard people say it like kind of sucked afterwards because it didn't focus on the comedy as much, but I think that's just because the female cast isn't as funny as the dudes, just because that's not what they aspire to be. They don't aspire to be comedians like the rest of the guys do. They're sort of taking a more serious approach. For me, if a season 2 were to actually come out, I would expect for them not to be as funny, but I would still expect there to be like outlandish comments made and this and that, and it would be fun to see the beef between the underground student council and the actual student council, I think, because there would be a lot of animosity there and a lot of tension. I don't know, but hopefully if there's a season 2, I will watch it. But all in all, after my experience with the show, I think it is one of the more enjoyable shows I've watched in recent time. Judging it off of everything, the art style is so good and clean. The animation is a lot cleaner than expected. The show is funny as hell. It does exactly what it tries to do, and I think it's a perfect balance in everything it does. All the episodes were enjoyable. The cast, I legitimately want to give it a 10, and I'm trying to think of why I wouldn't. I think I'm gonna stick to 9.5. I'm gonna give it a 9.5 out of 10. It was a great show, great experience. I loved it. I would highly recommend anyone to watch it if they haven't. Even if you watch this video, I would still recommend people to watch the show if you haven't, because it is like so funny for no reason. Funniest anime I've watched. And yeah, without further ado, on to the next one.